Hey, I'm your friend fellow Math. Being an anime fan, there will be a time when we are faced with a tough decision. Tougher than choosing which girl to root for in a harem anime that you know will just cock you out of a good ending. Choosing your first anime figure is a tough decision to make because buying an anime figure means that you have bought a ticket to join the club of virgins until further notice. So how do you exactly choose your first anime figure? Speaking from experience, it took me 12 years to buy my first anime figure, and yes, it took me that long. I actually considered buying anime figures as a waste of space and investment. Especially looking at their prices, they are not something that I would be buying given my wallet is flatter than Kaguya. When the pandemic hit, we were given orders to work at home, and it is of course every otaku's dream that they don't have to share their space with other people. So working at home is a massive plus, the only problem is, I have the room of a harem protagonist. It's dull as heck. So I decided to redecorate my home without the consultation of any interior designer because whoo boy, I don't have any money for that. Instead, I use what my brain has, and that's basically just anime. So I bought my first anime figure, and who did I buy? This cat that tells me to sleep. So why did I buy a Morgana figure? Well, it's because I love Persona 5. But you might ask, Map, there are a lot of waifus in Persona 5. There's the hot model, the delightful straight A's, the cute nerd, and the sociopathic floof. So why settle for an annoying cat? Well, that's because I live in the Philippines where these anime figures are either overpriced or not available. Plus, I love cats and I wish to be buried with them like an Egyptian pharaoh. So buying anime figures should always be from an anime or any otaku media that you really love, because you will be seeing them displayed every time you enter a room. Think of it as a waifu that welcomes you home after a long hard day from work. In my case, the figure welcomes me with a bed hair as I crawl to my office table like a freaking zombie. You might also ask, why did I take a long time to buy my first anime figure? That's because before the pandemic hit, I was mostly out doing other productive things and was never really home most of the time. Now I'm just withering on my couch while staring at the anime figures that I bought. It's worth it. And can you even imagine your college professor rocking a figure of Hatsune Miku in his table? So buying anime figures is really fun, but it can also be overwhelming. There are anime figures that you just take them out from the box and display them like the pop-up parades by Good Smile. But there are anime figures like the Nendoroid that you have to be creative in what pose is the best. There are of course cultured figures, but I don't really buy any of those because I'm kinda shy and because I don't like displaying them. But if you do, then good on you. Be proud of that lolly, milf, or incestuous desire that you have for anime. Then there are these massive figures that Leah likes, and I don't think calling them a figure is right because they are now freaking statues that can be displayed in national parks of anime. There are of course cheap anime figures being sold for $20. Some might look good, but the majority might look like they were produced with the first 3D printer operated by a monkey. There's also the Funko Pops, but we don't have to talk about those. But then there are these anime figures that's more expensive than my salary. I mean, just look at this JoJo figure being sold for almost $1,000. So is it worth it buying anime figures that can cost you your kidneys? Well, it depends. My rule of thumb for buying anything related to my hobby is if I can buy that product twice and still have remaining money for my monthly expenses. Buying things that will satisfy you called utils is not only good for your mental health, but can also stimulate the economy, and most importantly, it supports the creator of that anime that you love so much. So buy that anime figure that you've been eyeing for so long as you have the comfortable amount for it, that you don't end up eating grass. Buying anime figures is a complex experience, and seeing your favorite anime characters displayed on your home is rewarding. Just don't put them in a jar.